Hello guys, Des12530 back in with another video, and today I'll be doing my review on Battlefield 5. Sorry about that, I have a bit of a cold and I'm a bit tired, so this may be a bit of a coffee episode, or should I say video. So I'm just going to get right out the way for anybody that really just wants to click off this video and make it real quick. I like this game. This game is, while it can be frustrating, this game is, I can definitely say it's worth your money for it is at the moment. Even though I will say, if you are still upset about the whole marketing issue and all that prone stuff, I can't say, use your money if you hate the company and hate everything that happened there. I can't deny I blame you for doing that. But I'm just saying, overall, the game itself, aside from all that, it is a good game, and I think it is worth buying. Okay, so for gunplay in this game, I will say two things. One, this is probably the best gunplay we've had overall in a long time, just how the weapons feel and all that. But the balance between weapons in this game, and I'll get into the classes in a bit, the whole balance between all of those is really bad, and I definitely think that we need something to fix that. Like SMGs, the only viable one is the Thompson, the Suomi, and the Sten. And same thing with shotguns, the only really good one is the drilling. So there's not much really variety in what weapons you can use. Like, you can use them, but you won't be as effective as others. So I'm just warning you of this now. As for other things, such as like just overall like sniping and all that, as you can see, sniping is very fluid, very balanced. Overall, like I said, the guns just feel good, although the SMGs are kind of underpowered. Like I said, I'll get into classes and progression in a bit, so although I may complain a bit about progression up next, which is vehicles. Vehicles in this game, oh my lord. How do I put this in a way that doesn't make me want to slam my face through a door? So basically, you can only have 3 vehicle slots, right? In each vehicle slot, there's like 6 vehicles, I believe, in each slot, so like aircraft and ground. And here's the issue. Let's see. The light tanks are way too easy to kill, and they don't do enough damage. The heavy tank literally moves like heck and is a sitting target that dies almost instantly. The assault class's launchers deal way too much damage to ground targets, so you're getting like one-manned, like you can literally have one person, and I've seen this, kill you instantly because your tank turret won't rotate fast enough and all this. So really, unless you're sticking back or you're sticking with infantry, ground vehicles are almost useless, unless you're playing like a map where you can just, run in and shoot everything really quickly. Twisted Steel is one of those maps where you can just die instantly, which is what I'm playing right now. And you have maps like, what the heck was it? Amiens or Panzerstorm, where vehicles are basically the king of the battlefield. Pardon the pun. As for aircraft are quite good in this game, I'll admit that. Although they're kind of irritating because the way you have to progress them. If you guys don't know, progression in this game is kind of strange because instead of having normal things, you have like a skill tree now, which unlocks stuff. But like certain factions get certain weapons. So a good example would be like if you're playing the British or the Allies, should I say, you can right now you can only get the Spitfire is your only like fighter plane, and the Mosquito is like a close second. But both of those you have to upgrade them to get bombs, as where the Germans have the Stuka, which is a dive bomber, which already has a bomb equipped. So if you have like almost no use against ground targets unless you upgrade into ground targets on the British side, as where with the Germans you start off being able to do some damage to ground targets, which is why I actually like playing the Germans more, and that's the only time I ever get in the plane. So overall, I just think they wish they had a bit more. I wish they would give you a bit more weapons to start off with instead of just having like starting machine guns and hoping that you can fly and you can kill enough people in order to get it, because that's the main issue right now, is that like a lot of pilots will never be able to upgrade their stuff because they just can't get to a good point with them. So that just kind of saddens me, and even me myself, I have trouble getting upgrades with planes. So that's my real thoughts on the vehicle play. But once you do get them upgraded, planes are overall probably one of the funnest times I've had in Battlefield. Okay guys, so now I'm going to go over progression and how the classes progress, how weapons are, etc. So, and they'll go over assignments as well in this, I guess, because the assignments are tied to some of your progression. So, the way you unlock things in this game is by ranking up your classes, same thing as in Battlefield 1, nothing new here. But you no longer have to buy weapons. Instead, what you, or unless they're Tides of War, but I'll get into that in a second. But once you unlock a weapon, like once you get to that rank, you cannot use the weapon until the next round. And as you use weapons, you level them up now. So sort of like Call of Duty, how you level up things. You level up like weapons that you have. But instead of being like Call of Duty, where you just unlock the attachments, what this does is it gives you a skill tree. And there's 2 rows you can go down. Vehicles have this as well. That's how you upgrade vehicles. But they each have skill trees. And usually what they have is for weapons, there's always 2 columns. And what you can do is you once you get level 1, you can choose 1 column, level 2, 2 columns, 3, and 4. And those are each of your upgrades. Once you get to rank 4, you can no longer upgrade the weapon anymore, but you can get it up to rank 10 to get and do assignments with them to get special upgrades for them, like cosmetic upgrades. But I'll explain how the skill tree works. And this is the same thing with vehicles, are a tiny bit different, and I'll go over that too. So you have 2 columns, and the way this works is you can choose the first upgrade. You can choose either side, right? So you can choose 1 from either side, and that's it. So once you choose that, the second column you can choose 1 from either side. But on the third column, it must be in the same column as the one you chose on the second one. So in this case, if I chose right side on the first one, left side on the second one, I have to choose the left side on the third one, and then then at the last one you can choose the left or right. And on vehicles instead, they have something to where you can sometimes choose something called the middle, which only happens in a few scenarios, but basically these middle ones work down both trees, and they're basically the same thing as the first and last column. How they work, how they allow you to switch between the skill trees, so that's just kind of a thing for you guys. So that's how the progression trees work. And I'll go on to assignments now. So assignments are done by, obviously completing objectives and such. Right now you can't really track them outside of like completing a match, but there's these things called Tides of War assignments. You'll see them at the end of the game on Tides of War, and what they do is when the Tides of War is going, you can unlock weapons by completing the full assignment. So in my case, I got to unlock a semi-auto rifle, the specific one that's in the assignment. And if you don't complete them, you can buy them for company coin. And I guess this segues into company coin. The way you, once you unlock upgrades, like once you unlock the ability to select an upgrade, you have to pay company coin of increasing value. So basically, if you guys remember War Bonds, it's the same it's literally the same thing. It's the same icon, just that it's called company coin now. So yeah, that's how much that changed. So that's an overall view of how progression goes in this game. Not too complicated, but it does take a while to unlock stuff, especially with like classes, gadgets still being unlocked and all that. Okay, so on to classes and the class balance specifically. The Assault class is probably the easiest to play in the entire game, and it's probably one of the most fun. Right now you're seeing me play the Sniper, which is probably one of the most infuriating. And if you guys don't know why, this weapon I'm using right now is the Assault class's weapon. I accidentally picked it up off of a dead body, so that's wonderful. But the Assault has semi-auto rifles, and the fully auto rifles. Both are really good in this game. The semi-autos are normally 3 to 4 shot kills. The full autos are normally 4 to whatever. It depends on which one. Some of them have really high range, some of them don't. But yeah, most of the guns are pretty good. In the Assault class, they have the gadgets to destroy vehicles and such, so very good at dealing with stuff like this. Next will be the Medic class. The Medic class, I believe, is the most underappreciated class, and the class that needs to get buffed the most. And the reason why is because with the new system in place where you can resurrect your teammates, which, if you guys don't know, if you're anybody who's in your squad that goes down, you can now res them like you would a medic. It just takes a bit longer. And obviously medics can revive anybody, and they revive faster, but it kind of takes a lot of the point out of them having them in a squad. And the SMGs are really bad because there's a lot of open engagements, and a lot of the close range engagements they'll get beat out by rifles. So there's not really a point in running the medic class at the moment, and even with healing there's enough crates around where you can find them. So there's not really a point in running the medic, and their weapons just aren't viable. Although I will make a caveat to this and say that the Sten is broken. Everybody knows that the Sten is probably one of the best guns in the game at the moment, and that's just because it hits so hard and it's super accurate at range, so you can use it to kill multiple people very quickly. But other than that, there's no point running it. Support is also probably, if not the best class in the game now, because it now has pretty much everything you would ever need in a class. And if you don't know what I mean by this, support has gotten a bit of a change in this game because of the way ammo is now. So now ammo is even more appreciated than in older games. As well as their weapon setups. Their weapons consist of MMGs, LMGs, and shotguns. And if you don't know, shotguns in this game, obviously except for the drilling, are really bad, but they're also close range, which means that they have support now has close range firepower. As well as the fact that they have MMGs, which are great at holding down areas and are really good at taking out multiple enemies. And then you have LMGs, which are sort of like mini assault rifles that do a bit more damage, but they fire slower. So all very good guns. And yeah, the support class is probably my favorite class in the game at this moment, so there's your little recommendation from me. And as for the sniper class, the sniper class is just really unbalanced at the moment, I would say. There's a lot of issues that need to get tweaked out, and I'll talk about this in a second. Okay, so most of the scout weapons are quite unbalanced compared to each other, and sorry about the audio This audio was corrupted a bit, so I couldn't really use too much of it. But for most of the class, there's not much of a use for the bolt action rifles anymore, except for on a select few maps. And the semi-auto rifles that they have are really strong. So, like the starting weapon you start off with, the Lee Enfield is not very usable. The Gewehr M95 is usable, but it's not the greatest. And honestly, the first thing I can say is if you're going to do anything with the class, I would say buy the Selbstlader 1906 for 1700 or 1700 company coin, because it's overall just probably the best gun you're gonna get for a while. Other than that, the gadgets are pretty good in the class. I wish they would upgrade the spotting flare, because if you guys don't know, the spotting flare in Battlefield 1 was amazing, but the spotting flare in Battlefield 2, Battlefield 5 is not very good. It's kind of irritating, to say the least, because it doesn't cover a large enough area. So yeah, that's going to be all the classes, all the balancing. The main thing I want them to do is just add more weaponry to the medic class, change up some things with the scout, maybe make a few of the scout weapons a bit more viable. Even though the sweet spot system was a bit broken, I still think it gave weapons much more diversity in the scout class, aside from like handling stats and bullet drop. So I wish they would bring that back, but I'm not everybody, and I do agree that the mechanic was a bit broken. But so yeah, that's what I think about that. Lastly, I'm going to go over campaign and my overall thoughts on the game as a whole to close the section up. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll be right back one more time. Okay guys, so I'm going to give my final thoughts, including campaign, maps, and modes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and hopefully like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you wish. This is here mostly because it's my hobby, but I know you guys, if you guys really do want to see any more of my content, or if you guys want to see me play Battlefield, please do like and subscribe. Tell me if you guys want me to keep posting this game and tell you about it, because I've been loving this game. I might also try and do a Black Ops 4 video, because I like Black Ops 4 as well. So I'll do that in a minute, or in a few days. Depends on how long this takes to edit. But back on track. So the campaign I haven't played too much of. I haven't sank too much time into it, but I already know all the endings. I already know how it ends. I already know how everything pretty much goes, all the cutscenes. And from what I've seen, other than the fact that the campaign wasn't fully released when the game came out, the campaign is, or campaigns, because they're war stories, are quite good. Although not all completely accurate, they are still faithful to the whole ideals. I would say my favorite one would probably be Under No Banner or Under No Flag. I forget the exact title. But if you guys don't know, the person who is supporting you in that game, like your side character guy, is voiced by the guy who voiced Ghosts in Modern Warfare 2. So that kind of hits a soft spot for me there. But other than that, you know, overall this game's just, the campaign's just pretty good. Like I said, it's nothing 10 out of 10, like, you know, quality, but it's still definitely worth a play. I would definitely recommend playing it, because it does teach you some of the mechanics, although it doesn't teach you flying, because there is no flying level, sadly. But they may add that in the future, so hopefully that is added. As for maps, modes, my favorite modes are Conquest and Grand Operations, obviously, because those are the big modes. Rush is returning for a small bit in January, so you guys might want to check that out if you guys do get the game, because that's probably going to be my other favorite mode. TDM and some of the smaller modes aren't my thing, but I won't say that they're bad, because if you guys want a closer quarters experience, you guys should definitely try it out. So overall, the modes, even though there's a lack of a few modes that I think should have been here from the beginning, the game is, at most, it's definitely got some good modes. It's definitely got some fun with it. And you definitely do get that rush feel when you're playing some of the Grand Operations modes. As for the maps are pretty good. They get kind of repetitive to play, but other than that, they're overall good maps. I don't have too much to complain about them. And yeah, overall, my review of this game is that it's a good game. It's worth the money. It has some issues, but that's not the biggest issue here. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys all later. Peace out.